Hello, welcome to Doubles and Trebles. It's Pieman here, and today we have another exclusive interview for you on the channel. For our hardcore darts fans, it's a very familiar face, but for those who are a little bit more casual, I assure you, this is someone you're going to be seeing an awful lot more of in the months and years ahead. Scott Williams topped last year's Challenge Tour Order of Merit, but also achieved the remarkable feat of winning a Players' Championship event despite not holding a professional tour card. He was the first person to do that since Christoph Ratajski all the way back in 2018. He beat 4 major winners along the way and that memorable June afternoon in Niederhausen, and those exploits, combined with what he did on the Challenge Tour, earned him plenty of TV time in late 2022, with impressive showings at the Grand Slam of Darts, Players' Championship finals, and then at Ali Pali. With his trademark yellow outfits and unmistakable swagger, Shaggy looks tailor-made to reach the top of the game, and is someone that myself and Adam on this channel have said we are expecting huge things of in the years to come. I really hope you enjoy this chat with Scott, because I certainly did. And if you do, please don't forget to give this video a like, drop us a comment, and hit that subscribe button here on Doubles and Trebles. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. Well, here he is. I'm joined by the man himself, Scott Williams. Scott, amazing to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking time out of your evening. We last saw you doing battle with Rob Cross on the Ali Pali stage at the World Championship in December. It's February the 1st now. What have you been up to in that gap since Ali Pali?
Literally nothing, bud. Honestly, absolutely nothing apart from the same as everyone else. A bit of Christmas and New Year and sitting about. That's about it. Done a little bit of practicing, but nothing crazy. The practicing starts properly probably this weekend, county this weekend, and then onto the first lot of Players' Championships next week. So yeah, just my January has been pretty low level, with a trip to Q School, a couple of trips to Q School to support friends, a bit of marking. Yeah, just trying to keep myself occupied, and it's been pretty, I would say boring, but at the same time, it's nice to not have done Q School and the Challenge Tour. So yeah, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yeah, I've got some new darts out as well. I mean, it'd be rude if we didn't give them a plug, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have 25 gram Scott Williams Shaggy darts. Yeah,
hotly anticipated release.
Well, they were meant to be released middle of the year, but because of the hype of, I say the hype, what I've done. Obviously, I've been pretty crazy this year, so and they pulled them forward by a few months just to get people's lips clapping and getting them ready and spending all their money for me.
Good.
Give me your money. But yeah, you can get them from Target Darts, you can get them from Darts GP, Double Top Darts, Evolution Darts. There's so many darts, decent places you can get them.
All good dart suppliers, I think we could go with.
All good dart suppliers that Target supply, yeah.
Right. So before I go any further, obviously we do want to talk about you and your career, but I just want to say that initially, when we were looking at doing this chat last Friday, you told me that you couldn't do it because you were on a night out with Josh Rock. Now, it would be rude of me not to ask, what does a night out with Scott Williams and Josh Rock look like?
If it was just me, X-rated. Josh is still a little baby, isn't he? So you've got to look after him. I've got to take him around in a little one of them things you put around your chest. The whole baby's in. You can still got to walk him around, so he's still on the nipple. But
I've got one of them right next to me. Carrier.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, carrier. There we go. I've got one somewhere in the attic. But no, it was Josh's engagement party this weekend with his lovely fiancée Sarah. So there was myself, John O'Shea went, Nathan Rafferty lives in Northern Ireland as well, so he was there. It was just full of alcohol, banter, and shots. A lot of shots, and I felt terrible the next morning because of said shots.
Good, yeah. So it's exactly how I pictured it, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly how everyone would imagine it would go.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to largely recap on what an amazing 2022 you had, because it was unbelievable. And you've got a hugely exciting 2023 ahead of you. But I wondered first, just for anyone that doesn't know about you, Scott, if we could hear a little bit more about your life before professional darts and the kind of journey you went on that led to you entering Q School and then, you know, subsequently the Challenge Tour. Like what was that life like beforehand?
Yeah, it was the same as every other random person that starts off in darts. You pick it up by just playing local league, and it starts off with just a Tuesday night in the pub with your mates. I was working in a warehouse, nothing special. Going in the pub in the evenings when I worked shift, so I can only play every 2 of every 3 weeks or something like that. And so that's how it started. And then I started going around entering local competitions, and to be fair, I was a bit out of my depth to start with. But if you don't push yourself, you don't know where you're going to be at in the level. So I did that, and then one of my best mates and old sponsors, Darren, he helped me through Q School. He followed me around everywhere, paid for me to go to Q School, and give me my first proper experience at it. And 3 years later, I don't have to do it. so yeah, it's been a real good rise over the last 3 years. I met Rob Cross 3 years ago next month, so nearly 3 years I've been practicing with him, and he's helped me and kicked me up the arse a few times, and felt a lot of pressure going into Q School and doing the challenge tour and stuff with being practicing with Rob and that, because you need to, when you play a practice game against him and you're chucking in 95, 100 pluses all the time, and then you go over to do the PDC stuff and you're only chucking in an 84, 86, and you kind of, where is that game? And then you get messages and phone calls and say, what you doing? But he's been a great help, and his manager Rab as well. So there's so many people I can name that have helped me out in the last couple of years to get me where I'm at. But we haven't got long enough, so we'll keep with them few that people know.
I'd like to think you've let them know, personally, how much.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they all know how much they're regardless of whether it's financial help or just physical help, whether it's just a phone call here, a phone call there, just to give me a bit of advice, and just everyone knows how much they've been to me, especially my manager Will as well. He took me on through lockdown, out of literally just seeing me play really well on some online competitions, and thought I had it, and yeah, I've got it. So and here we are.
Clearly,
now.
you do, yeah.
Clearly.
Look, darts is a journey. We speak to different players, and everyone has their own sort of route into professional darts, and it takes some longer than others. And yours was a particularly interesting one, wasn't it? Because you go to Q School, quite a lot of buzz around you, and then you end up having to pick yourself up, go to the Challenge Tour, and then you have these fantastic results on the Challenge Tour to propel you into contention for all Players Championships and stuff. How was that? How did you approach that Challenge Tour environment? Because nobody really wants to be at those first 2 Challenge Tour events, do they? It means that Q School hasn't gone how you wanted it to, but you go and pull out that unbelievable result. That took some guts to do that.
Yeah, it was honestly. Obviously, I've had this similar questions for the last 12 months and stuff like that, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you how it went, just in the fact that I knew Q School wasn't good. I felt that to start with, literally from the first dart I threw, just because of the place was so cold and it was so depressing, because it was during lockdown last year, or was it lockdown? Regardless, it was probably the first year in, but it's still so depressing. You couldn't have any guests in. You had to stay in the hotel and everything. It was just really, everyone was just down. But and then I went a week later. The night before I won the back-to-back tennis tours was my wedding anniversary. So me and the wife, we went out for a spot of Wagamama's and sat down, had a chat. Drove down Friday morning to the Challenge Tour, just really happy, just in a really good mood. And we were joking about that night, saying, "Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just win both of them today. That'll get me a ticket into the Pro Tour for 6 months easy, and then we'll just see how it goes from there." They won the first one. I shouldn't have won the first one either. I shouldn't have.
You had a near miss, didn't you?
Yeah, near miss. Andrew Highland, and I've mentioned him a few times, and I've seen him a few times since, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for the mentions and stuff like that." But yeah, he missed match darts against me in the first game.
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, he played really well. But from there, I just kicked on and just took loads of loads of few good scalps and go from there. And then that winning the first one, and then as soon as I'd won the first one, straight onto the second one. Didn't even have a chance to sit down, go for a piss or anything. They literally got you on again, bang, straight over there. So went
brutal, isn't it? Brutal.
Yeah, brutal. I remember that I'd played Brandon Weston, I think his name is, and I think he went 2-0 up against me because I just physically couldn't do it. And then as soon as that game was over, I had a good hour and 20 minutes to prepare, ready for my next game. So yeah, relaxed a little bit, got myself ready, and then just kicked on again from there, and absolutely fine. Bit gutted I didn't do the third one as well because I was playing really well, and I started missing doubles. Against Jason Hogg, I missed 6 match starts against Jason Hogg, and then it cost me in the end. But hey, I'm still here.
You can't complain.
I can't complain, exactly.
Yeah, as you say, these 2 wins, they basically put you, for anyone that doesn't understand how the system works, it basically put you top of the reserve list for Pro Tours, didn't it? So like every time, you're almost certain that a couple of tour card holders aren't going to turn up to these Pro Tours, be it Europeans or whatever, and you get that call up. This is where I've got to do a bit of, not trumpet blowing as such, but myself and Adam, we like to pop videos up quite regularly throughout the year talking about Pro Tour, who's impressed us, who hasn't, and names that have popped up. And we both said very early on last year, Scott Williams is posting some really, really encouraging numbers. And I think it was more, not even it wasn't so much the Josh Rock 110, 112 averages. It was the scalps you were taking and the consistency in your game. You never seem to be overawed by the opponent in front of you. You just seem to play the board, which is an easy thing to say, but a difficult thing to do. How comfortable did you feel in them Pro Tours, like early on? Was it a case of very quickly thinking, oh yeah, I could just play my darts here, or did it take?
Yeah, as soon as I kind of had a little bit of experience the year before, because I did a full week in Niedenhausen. Throughout in the middle of the lockdown, a lot of people decided I was about 30th on the reserve list, and a lot of people decided they weren't going, and I wanted to take the opportunity because I'd never properly done it.
Definitely.
So spent the full week. I only won 1 game, and I had some bloody hard games over there in the first round. I had Mensa, I had Christoph as first round games. I beat Nick Kenny, lost to Roby John, and it was just like, to me then it was so difficult. But coming into the first lot of Pro Tours last year, my first game was on stream, straight against Steve Beaton.
So you're not going under the radar for long, are you?
No, I'm not even going under the radar there. No, so and it was weird because I've got a friend that I keep in touch with, and he messaged me that morning saying best of luck today unless you play Steve Beaton, which is his favourite player. And I just laughed, and then I drew him, sent him a screenshot of the draw, and he's like, no way. And then I banged in 106 average against him. So literally from game 1,
welcome to the Pro Tour, yeah.
Welcome to the Pro Tour. Game 1, I was there. I was like, I'm here to stay. I've got to make a year of it. So why not start the way I aim to finish? I plan to finish, and yeah, I kind of did that in the end, which I'm really pleased with.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure most of our regular viewers know, but you're going on to win that Players' Championship, and all the more impressive that win in Niederhausen, given that you didn't have a tour card. And I think the previous person to do that was Krzysztof Ratajski. I might be right in saying that in 2018.
Yeah, that's right. But he was a world master at the time.
Exactly. So I mean,
and Joe Mernon before him, who won one without a tour card, he had already experienced all the tour before because he'd had a tour card prior to it.
It really was out of nowhere.
Pretty much out of nowhere.
Unprecedented. An unbelievable achievement. We don't do after timing on this channel, but me and Adam both had a few pennies on you that day as well at a very, very big price. So, I mean, if anyone was as happy as the Scott Williams clan with that win, it probably was us. But
it wasn't £12,000 happy, was it? But
yeah, well, I tell you what, it was a decent amount, but it wasn't £12,000 happy. I'll give you that. But yeah, we were obviously delighted with it. And look, when I look and break down that victory, the caliber of player that you've beaten there. I mean, you've beaten, well, with Chris Dobey's recent success, 4 sort of major or TV winners there on that run. Whatever your class as a major these days, I don't really know. We haven't got time for that. But yeah, I mean, like to go and beat Jonny Clayton, Chris Dobey,
Yeah.
Rob Cross, your mate, and then Asp in the
Yeah.
final. I've seen you speak about that game with Nathan and speak about the whole day. And I know you've said previously that your averages weren't actually that high on the day,
No.
but it's a topic that I often discuss. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because we get absolutely bombarded with stats about averages and, you know, 180s and stuff. But surely that win of yours proves that timing and big moments and composure is far more important. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Averages are a great guide to any game, and obviously it's nice to look at the average afterwards. It pretty much tells you as a person how well you're playing, and it tells everyone else how well you're playing. But yeah, I think I won it. The Pro Tour, that was the lowest ever run hot average for the day for a Pro Tour win by a point and a half or something like that to Joe Cullen. But it was all about doing the right things at the right time, and that's exactly what you said earlier in the scouts that I took. Started off with my mate Gary Blades. He was out there as just as a whim as well because people had dropped out. Went on from him, Danny Baggish. Then I went on to Jonny Clayton. Then over to Hendo, to Rob, Chris Dobey, and then finish off with Asp.
What was can I just ask you while you mentioned that, Rod, what was the win where you thought, oh, this could, it was Clayton? I mean, Clayton's a big scalp, isn't he? When you beat Clayton, are you starting to think I could do this?
No, that was just to win the board. The game against Rob.
Yeah.
As soon as I beat Rob in the quarterfinal, even his manager as well was there. Obviously, his manager supporting Rob, but I'm really Rob's one of my best mates, and he lives just around the corner. So I speak to him and stuff a lot, and he was there supporting me. And as soon as I won it, he was there as a get in there, congratulations. But as soon as I won that game, Rob congratulated me. He wasn't so happy about it, but you're not going to be happy losing them when you're playing. And going on back into the averages, his averages was higher, but my checkouts were, I did to him what he does to everyone else, and that's take them 100, 110, 120 checkouts out, just like that, and that's what made the game. But as soon as I thought that, I was like, I can do this now. I beat Dobey before, beat Asp before, so why can't I do it again?
I mean, people like James Wade, they've made a career out of taking the right checkout at the right time, haven't they? And I mean, I think we live in a day and age now where everyone likes to see the 180s and the 9s and the 120s and stuff. But I just thought that performance from you that day was just because, I mean, you had some big, like 11 dart legs and stuff, didn't you, at pivotal times?
Yeah, against Johnny, mate. Yeah, mate. I had a couple against Johnny. That's what the decider was against Johnny.
Yeah,
was an 11, and it was 2.
I mean, that's all class to do that in a decider.
Yeah. That was that, and then I had a couple against Rob, a couple against Nath, a couple against Dobey as well, which really, 11s and 12s. If you can go out in 4 visits to the dartboard, you average 125, and you're going to win most games. If you can do, especially on your throw, or especially on their throw, sorry, if you and your throw can go out in 15, then 5 throws, then the game's easy, and that's what us as professionals pretty much practice all the time, is trying to go out as quick as possible. But you have in your head, that if you're not going out at 15, you're not going to get a shot. So I had that in my head when I was playing, especially against Johnny, because he's a massive 140, 180 to Johnny.
Yeah.
So if you don't get on top of him quickly, then it's going to disappear very quickly too.
After that event, obviously you're on the PDC Twitter, all your achievements, social media is booming, I imagine. Did you notice sort of was that a change in your life at that moment when you won that Pro Tour? Did you notice more attention on you?
Nah, not really.
No.
Just for the fact that up until over the last probably 4 or 5 months, I've not been massive on any other social media apart from Facebook really, because I've known Facebook. Facebook's been around my whole life, and stuff like that. So up until recently, I've started using Twitter and Instagram, and it's actually like over the last few months, maybe since the World of the Grand Slam, where I've had more people talk about me because they're now seeing me on TV more instead of just seeing my name on a
I was going to
screen.
say, so you would say the TV appearances have made more of an impact on your profile? Considerably.
I mean, I have not got many. I say many compared to others. I've got about 5,500 followers on Twitter. Prior to the Worlds, I had 900.
Oh, there you go.
So it's gone crazy. I've done a little giveaway and stuff, and people won, but at the same time, I've still got a lot of people that are interested in what I'm doing and quite like the fact that I'm a bit boisterous, I'm a bit stupid. I say stupid shit on TV. I do stupid shit on TV.
Well, and you've just led me in perfectly to that, because I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, for anyone that isn't aware, you've had a couple of run-ins with the DRA already in the early stages of your professional career. Darts Regulation Authority handing out a couple of, well, you could tell me, a couple of fines, I'm guessing, for, I mean, you've had the double finger at Luke Humphries, you've had the F-bomb on Sky Sports. I mean, it's all...
Yeah, I've been fine. I have been fined for both of them, yeah. To be fair, I only got the
what were the fines, if you don't mind me asking?
250. Both of them 250.
So a slap on the wrist, really?
Yeah, pretty much. I would have preferred them to give me £250.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Scott, don't do this again, it's 250 quid. But that's not the way it's going to go, I'm afraid. But yeah, 250 quid for both of them. I only got the F1 one a couple of days ago, or yesterday actually. I only got it yesterday, so
nice.
But it's good. But they know that I'm going to do it again.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
You could probably set up a tab, to be fair.
Yeah, I could do. I've inquired about like direct debits and standing orders and stuff, but they don't seem to be taking me seriously.
Yeah. Do you like? You know, that seems to just be the way you are. It doesn't seem to be an act or anything. So, like, I'm guessing you don't really regret that, because that's just who you are, isn't it?
Yeah, no. See, there's a lot of robots in sports.
Oh, not
just darts, but in most sports that you're involved in, or you look and watch. You watch a football game. Yes, for those, it's for the team. We're really happy for the team. Fuck the team. No, I scored hat-trick. Give me that fucking match ball. Cheers. Thanks for coming. All right. But yeah, it's all about it's all about me. And when I do interviews, I don't change. That's why Phil Bars is an absolute nightmare to interview me, because he knows how to get me going. He knows the question. He knows the questions to ask. He
pushes your buttons.
And he pushes my buttons, and he's kind of expecting me. He goes, "Come on, Scott. Here's a little feed. Come and nibble at my hands, bud." I'm like, oh, come on, man. But yeah, so I try to be myself as much as possible, and I'm very, I can't help but swear. I literally swear in every sentence that I mean to.
I think most blokes, I mean, like when you play darts down the pub, that is the way of the world, isn't it? And it's just it's ridiculous to think that when you go on TV, everyone suddenly turns into this polite, like it's crazy, really.
Yeah. Yes, and there's a lot of the players, especially the guys at the top, I can understand why they're a bit more.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they've got to play the game a little bit more, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they might be media trained. They might have done this or that or whatever, just to make sure they're saying the right things about the right people, about the right things, and not upsetting anyone. But I'm in the middle of the road. I'm not really bothered if I upset anyone, if I'm honest with you.
I was going to ask you, Scott, because I mean, you come across it. I mean, I love watching you, because I think you can just tell you're being yourself, and I love that. If I'm playing devil's advocate, some people would say, "Oh, he seems a bit arrogant. He seems a bit cocky." Yeah. How would you respond to that if people have taken one look at you on the TV and thought, "Nah, he's not for me"?
Yeah, if that's their opinion, they're more than welcome to their own opinion. But the people that the personality of the people that enjoy watching me have clearly got similar personality to myself, where they're a little bit, they're a lad, or they're a girl that like to go to the pub, they like to have a few beers, they like to take the piss out of anyone they can, and that's literally what I do. So even on the stage, obviously you see me counting, I'm only 180, because I've taken the piss. Because I could take it a bit, I can do that. I am cocky because look at what I've jumped up like 65 places. So, oh no, I wasn't even ranked, was I? I technically wasn't in the top 128 last year. So I've gone up 70 plus places in the space of a year. I say what I want. My buddy the other night was taking a mick out of me on Monday because I didn't hit a 13 data and he did. And I just went, I'm 57 in the world, but I don't give a fuck.
You've earned it, mate. You've earned it. I mean, I've got a lot of time for it. I mean, if I've got while we're on the topic, by the way, I will just ask you because I know a lot of people will wonder the story behind this. You can't miss you on the stage because you're always covered in yellow. Why yellow? Why yellow? Tell us why.
Yeah, so I will say here so people can listen and stuff properly because people seem to get some kind of information that is wrong. And I've told Sky Sports and stuff like that. So I have a 6-year-old, well, nearly 6-year-old son called Buzz, Buzz. And even now, his nickname's always been Buzzy B. So when I first started playing darts 5 or 6 years ago, properly, I used to design my own shirts, and I used to design them in black and yellow. They'll be stripy. They would have honeycombs. They would be hexagonal. There would be bees on them and stuff like that. So it's all because of he's the reason. It's like a homage to him.
Nice.
So it'll all be the same. And when my new shirt's designed from Target, it'll be black and yellow. It's a bit more grey this time. I wanted grey. I wanted to try it out, and I don't mind it. But there'll be more black and yellow instead of grey this time around. But yeah, that's how it is. It's all to do with him, not because a reporter for Sky said it's because he likes bees. He does not like bees because he's scared they're going to fucking sting him. So,
well, I'm glad we managed to clear that up.
Yeah, glad. Yeah, it's good. So many.
It's amazing. It's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? Once these things get going, I mean, they take an age. They're hard to shift. I want to ask you about the year ahead, but just finally, it'd be wrong of me to skip over because you had a fantastic end to the year. Appearances on TV, we talk about your rise to prominence. Grand Slam of darts. I mean, it was a mixed bag, but you played some sensational stuff there, especially in your last game of the group stage. Player Championship, you had a great run. Really, really good run at the PC finals and played some lovely stuff along the way. And then the Worlds, I mean, your first game against Ryan Joyce could not have gone any better. I think Ryan Joyce had the highest losing average in the opening round, and you were outstanding yourself. And then a good game with Rob. So what do you take away from those 3 TV appearances? And what was your overall feeling on them? Were you pleased? You must have been pleased.
Yeah, apart from the money, which I take away from it, just the experience of the TV. There's not much more I'll take away from the games because I didn't play bad against Luke Humphries in the Grand Slam. I missed a lot of doubles in the first 3 legs. That cost me massively. I didn't play bad against Josh. He took out 145 in the first leg when I was sat on tops. That killed me. Obviously, I played really well against Ryan Searle.
He could do that, Josh, can't he? He's quite good.
But he can do that. He's an arsehole. Simple. Yeah, he can do that. And then, like the Players Championships, a couple of good games being Suits and Chizzy. Just teaching Chizzy, who's a fucking #1 black and yellow player in the PDC. We have a joke about that, to be fair. But yeah, I was 4-0 up against Chizzy, averaging probably 120. I couldn't miss. And then all of a sudden he couldn't miss. And then he went 11-11, 12-11. And I'm like,
yeah, fair enough.
I was on for a 9 and I lost a leg. I had a shot for the 9, lost a leg, he went out in 12. Oh, so it's perfect.
That's Chizzy for you.
It's all, honestly, it was the biggest game for me learning-wise was the one against Joe Cullen on the Players' Championships. First time I played at 9:30 at night on TV. First time I had a proper walk on my own. And I was absolutely shattered because I'd been in the venue since 11 o'clock in the morning, preparing, trying to physically prepare for my game against Chisney, which was like 3 o'clock. So yeah, that was the biggest game, and I think I've kind of learned from that since. But yeah, the Ryan Joyce game was obviously really good. I was really pleased with how it went. Winning was better, and then the Rob game, we both spoke about it a couple of days later because I went to support him against Merv King when he played him. We both respected each other too much. I wanted to, I'm quite, as you see, I like to make people know that I'm the best up there. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't being me up there, and he wasn't being him until like the third set. So, and I just didn't want to upset him. And then we've kind of had a chat since and just put it aside and said, look, if this happens again, no messing about, right? I'm going to do what I do. You do what you do. And then afterwards we'll shake, we'll kiss, we'll cup each other's balls or whatever we do afterwards. So it's one of them things. So that's pretty much all I've learned from it.
Yeah.
Just be myself. And if I need to let off a bit of steam and give it a big old raw, but whatever I do, a guan or something like that, just do it. Don't mess about.
Good. Well, I look forward to seeing a bit more of that in 2023.
Yeah, me too.
Don't want to keep you much longer, but we've got to look ahead to 2023. I mean,
yes,
I think everyone in darts has got their juices flowing again with the Masters recently. Pro Tour, as you say, coming up, Players Champs 1 and 2 next weekend. I presume you're going to be entering both. How are you feeling coming into those Players Champs events?
I am entered in everything this year. I'm feeling really good. The only problem is the match practice. There is none. Well, I have none apart from a bit of counting. I've got county this weekend. So that's a little bit of a stage game, but it's a best of 7 game, so it's not really anything to get your juices flowing properly. So I'll do that, and then just probably a big week of practice. Might see if there's anyone available for a chuck and just to get myself going properly. Practicing at home was good, as you see. I've got a nice little setup here, but it's just doing it on your own is not the same as doing it with someone. I 180s galore. Actually, I do it on TV as well, but I 180s galore. But then as soon as you get behind someone, you'll go 24, 26, 45, and then it's completely different. Like I said,
who do you like to practice with?
I like to practice with Rob when he's available, but obviously he's been a busy guy in January, and he's away this weekend at an exhibition, so I probably won't see him. But I've got no one around where I am to practice. No one of any proper quality where you can expect a good game all the time, just to push you. But I'll see if there's anyone available over the next week or so, just to get us both a little bit interested. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to how it goes the next year. I've got a free year, so I'll just do what I need to do and get myself up into towards that top 32, ready for the Worlds.
Okay, so just to finish us off, I just want some quick fire questions at you, and then your goals for next year. But firstly, if I fire some quick ones at you, if you had to pick a player who hasn't made that breakthrough yet, like you and Josh did last year, but you can see them breaking through in the next year or so, who would it be?
When you say that, is it? It was meant to be quick fire, but it's not. Is it someone who's just got a tour card, or someone who's been sat around for the year, or
whatever you like? Someone that is not currently on darts fans' radars, who you think is going to make a big burst onto the scene?
Just from a lot. I'm a big fan of Graham Usher. I'm a big friend of Graham Usher.
Yeah.
Big fan of what he does and how he goes about his stuff as well. So I can see him having a really good year. Adam Warner, who got his tour card as well. And that's great. I've watched some of the ADC stuff that he's been doing. And he's been right. I'd like to see Keegan Brown have a big old kick up his ass.
I would as well,
this year as well.
To win a Pro Tour and lose your card is scandalous.
It is. And I feel you feel a bit sorry for him at the same time, but it's
bounced back though, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did. He was always going to. So they're the 3 people I'd like to see do well. And then you've got I think Owen Bates from Challenge Tour. If he doesn't do well and get a bit higher he got to 2 finals, first 5, he's done well. So he's got plenty more to do. So I reckon he'll have a good year on the Challenge Tour as well. So it's 4th year.
Yep, plenty to go out there. Practice routines. What is your favourite practice routine to do when you've got 10 minutes spare?
So when I've got 10 minutes, I take checkouts. So I do 1-2. I always start at 1-2-1 and go to 130, and then I allow myself 3 darts, and then when I hit it, I go up, and then I get to 130, and then I go back down again. Usually when I got.
You're doing that with 3 darts, and you're getting up to 130, are you? Yeah.
Yeah, with 3 darts. Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Well, that's what I do.
That's me doing it in 6 and going down, mate. I'll tell you. That's the difference.
Yeah, so that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to answer this one, but I've got a feeling you like answering dodgy questions.
Mm.
So,
Yep.
drinking on the tour, PDC tour. Do you like to have a beer before the game? And do you see
Not
many
really.
players having a beer before a game?
Yeah, it's a bit of a black area, isn't it? Really,
It is.
I'm not even going to say grey because people know that alcohol is in the darts.
Yeah.
It's in the darts world. You go to the pub and you
Well,
have
of
a few
course it is.
beers, and you
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
and
But we're not allowed to talk about it, are we? Really?
but we're not allowed to talk about it. And I have a couple of pints of cider, and that's about it.
Yeah.
No, honestly, nothing really. I might as well just play on pop. But
Yeah.
I think the fact in my head that if I don't have a couple, then I'll go into the game going, yeah, I need a beer. You know, anything to drink.
Okay.
There's players that drink a lot more than I am. There's players that drink literally nothing. So Chris Dobey is one of them. He doesn't drink anything.
Yeah, teetotal.
And he's teetotal. So and he just goes and has a little pop and wins a
Working
TV
for him,
event.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Yes, he's had worse years, that's for sure.
Last quick fire. Premier League lineup. Who do you like? Who don't you like? Well, go on then. Who would you have had in that hasn't got in?
It's and again, it's one of these grey areas where I can't say anything because I don't want to upset players.
No, of course not. Is there anyone you felt particularly sorry for missing out?
Yeah, Luke Humphries, massively, and probably Ross Smith as well. But Ross was in the same boat as Bobby Cross last year. Bobby didn't get invited because then he won a major. It's like they're not even seeing it as a major. And nothing against Christoph Dobey. The Masters isn't a major. It can't be a major because there's only the top 24.
Well, the European's harder to win than the Masters, isn't it? Theoretically.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my personal opinion, but a major should be an event where every single one of the 128 tour card holders has a chance at some point to
I
be
totally agree with that.
And with the Masters being only top 24, where there's no qualifiers, there's no this and that other, then it shouldn't be classed as a major. So yeah, Chris got in there in the back door, and that's what Joe Cullen did last year. And hopefully it works out for him. I'm pleased as a fellow Geordie. Well, he's a Geordie. I'm a Geordie fan. But him, I hope for the best, and I hope he goes and wins it and proves people wrong. That's for sure. But there's definitely people that deserved it more than the 4 wildcards, but they're in there for a reason because they can all play darts and they're all good fun to watch, and that's what the Premier League's about.
Yeah, so we're enjoying ourselves so much there. I've actually gone over my Zoom call limit there, so I've just had to call Scott back. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying it too. Scott, I want to ask you about football. I write about football for a living, so I know you're a big Newcastle fan. You touched on it there when talking about Chris Dobey. You must be absolutely delighted to see Newcastle at Wembley for the first time in an awful long time.
Yeah, sat watching it last night, but it's been a tough few years for being a Toon fan.
How did you end up being a Newcastle fan, if I can ask?
So it was when I was 5, and Shearer moved from Blackburn to Newcastle, and it's just literally from that moment.
Nice.
It's nothing spectacular. I haven't got distant relatives and great uncles and stuff that were buried there or born there or whatever, but I was a massive fan of Shearer when I was younger, and just followed them ever since. I've not even thought about anyone else since, because they obviously back in the mid 90s, early 90s, they were one of the best teams in England, one of the best teams in the world, and then obviously to the demise since Mike Ashley bought him, but now we've got rid of him and got the Saudis in.
Yeah,
it's been glorious. Glorious.
Long overdue success.
So long.
Do you manage to get to St James's much? And are you going to try and get to Wembley? That's the question.
I'd love to go to Wembley, but I imagine that'll be very, very difficult.
I think a lot of Newcastle fans will be hoping to go. Yeah, difficult.
It's looking at the calendar. It's a Euro Tour weekend anyway. So hopefully I'll qualify for the Euro Tour.
Well, yeah, ideally.
Yeah. But no, I'd absolutely love to be there, but I haven't managed to get to St James's all last year because I just was that busy last year
Oh,
with
yeah, well, your Saturdays were pretty busy, weren't they? Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, Saturdays, Sundays, but it wasn't just Saturdays, Sundays. It was the Wednesdays and Thursdays flying out to Hildesheim, Niederhausen, or the arse ends of Germany. We had to go to. See, I was that busy last year. I just didn't have time. So, but this year was been a little bit less busy. Hopefully, I can get some midweek games in, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Eddie Howe and the guys can do.
Nice one. Yeah. Very exciting times to be a Newcastle fan, definitely.
Absolutely.
Let's just round it off with yourself then. And 2023, so many possibilities this year. You're going to be playing virtually everything. We saw you a couple of times on the Euro Tour last year, but you're going to have the, much more regular chance to appear on there potentially. You're entering. Am I right in saying you took the 1 year? You got the 1 year ranking option with your tour card?
Yeah, I've never really got an option if I'm honest with you.
So you were just told.
It just made sense to take the 1 year rolling anyway because it still gives me a second year. Well, it gives me 2 years because I get this year free, and if I go down at the top 64 without this year, there's some questions to be asked either from myself or the 25 people that are earning a lot more than I am.
Yeah, I suppose it does put you in this quite strong position, though, doesn't it? Where you're entering, with a huge amount of prize money relative to most people in their first year. So, is your goal targeting the top 32, maybe, or something, or have you got goals to go to a certain round in a major, or what are you looking at 2023 with?
I think it'll just be to start with, just to get my foot back in the door properly, just to get the darts going nicely, without having the Challenge Tour and playing for England and stuff in the background. My match practice isn't going to be quite as I'm not going to do it all the time as much as I did last year, so I need to try and keep myself as match fit as possible. But yeah, just to win a few games, I think I've got the capabilities of winning a Euro Tour. Just because of the fact it's on stage, and as you know, as you've seen, I love a stage. I love people. Whether they can speak much English or not, I ain't bothered about that. As long as they're chanting "Ya Ya" and "Colo," I ain't bothered. And but yeah, and then just see how the year goes. But the top 32 is obviously where I'm aiming at. If I can get there before the Worlds, that'll be absolutely bloody awesome, because then that gives me the extra rounds, gets me straight into round 2. But there's bits and bobs between now and then. There's 3 or 4 other majors between then. So look at the UK Open. Hopefully, just get a nice run of the UK Open. That'll be good to start with. So I'll go straight into round 3. So that saves me messing about with a couple of early rounds. I get straight into the money, so that goes straight into the ranking. So yeah, there's loads to go this year, and Euro Tours is a massive one as well, because they helped me keep me in the top 64 this year. So there's so many goals, different goals laid out for different parts of the year, really.
Well, let me fill you with confidence before I let you go. So obviously we had, when we had Danny Baggish on, the next big event he had was Q-School when he was originally going for his tour card, and he managed to get it on the last day. And the last time I spoke to him and Heta was the week before the World Cup. And he went and won the World Cup with Simon Whitlock. So if you're going to follow on this trend, really, you should either be winning a Players' Championship next weekend or the UK Open in March.
I'll take the UK if I don't mind.
We'll go with the UK Open.
Open.
Basically, the message is...
I'm not being fussy.
The message is get on Scott Williams right now for the UK Open,
Right now.
That is the suggestion. Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thanks, Matty.
Hopefully we can get you back on again, when you win something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Never see you again.
No, I know, yeah. Well, most people get too big time with the channel pretty quickly. So, enjoy your newfound major win. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. No, in all seriousness, thanks for coming on. And hopefully speak to you again soon.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thanks, you. Mate.